Good afternoon. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we're gathered here on the traditional unceded territories of the Anishinaabe-Algonquin peoples. I want to thank everyone for being here today, and I want to welcome everyone who has joined us today, Cabinet, caucus colleagues, law enforcement advocates for the policy that we're talking about. Je veux également reconnaître la présence de mon secrétaire parlementaire, 𝐥𝐞𝐠𝐚𝐥, and I want to thank Ruby Tsohoda, Secretary of State for Combating Crime, and Brian Larkin, Senior Deputy Commissioner for the RCMP. With me here at the podium is my Cabinet colleague, Nathalie Provost, Secretary of State for Nature, as well as Robert Walsh, Chief of Cape Breton Regional Police Service. We will be hearing from them in a minute. I want to start by drawing your attention to the AR-15, specifically AR-15A2 Sporter Competition N-Bar. It is one of hundreds of AR firearm variants that we have banned. This weapon is derived from a weapon of war. It fires .223 Remington or 5.56 millimeter NATO caliber ammunition. It has the power to penetrate body armor, and a version of this weapon is associated with the deadliest mass shooting in Canadian history at Portapique, Nova Scotia in 2020. We know, and the vast majority of Canadians know, that this gun and ones like it have to be removed from our communities. Nous savons, et la grande majorité des Canadiens et savent aussi, que cette arme et d'autres armes comme celle-ci doivent être retirées de nos communautés. During the election campaign, we committed to moving ahead with implementing an efficient gun buyback program for assault-style firearms, such as the AR-15s. Today, we're here to talk about our government's next steps in making good on that promise to Canadians. The Assault-Style Firearms Compensation Program provides a way for firearm owners to safely dispose of and or deactivate their assault-style firearm and receive compensation in return. This program is voluntary. Nobody is having their weapon confiscated. People who use rifles to hunt can still hunt. If you want to purchase a hunting rifle, there are 19,000 legal options available in the Canadian market. An AR-15 is not one of those options, nor should it be one of those options. The program has been running for a while now. The first round of buybacks for businesses closed the end of April of this year. Through that program, over 12,000 firearms were claimed and destroyed, with over $22 million in compensation given to businesses. Now we're moving to the next phase, the opening of the program to individual owners. We're starting with a pilot in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, and I want to acknowledge the two MPs we have here from Cape Breton, Mike Calloway and Jaime Batiste. The goal here is to use the pilot to test the online portal and firearms collection process in collaboration with the Cape Breton Regional Police Service. We will also test the destruction of firearms with our external service provider, as well as our compensation payments to participants. Support from a dedicated call center will be available to all participants in both official languages. The application and key information will also be available in 7 Indigenous languages: Mohawk, Anishinaabe, 𝐂𝐂𝐅𝐑, Cree, Algonquin, Dene, and Mi'kmaq. We want to be sure everything is working properly before we open the program nationwide later in the fall. For the pilot to be successful, we need strong partners, and we have one in Cape Breton Regional Police Service, and I want to invite Chief Walsh to say a few words. Chief.
Good afternoon, Minister Anandasangaree, Secretary of State Provost, Deputy Commissioner Larkin, Cape Breton members of Parliament Mike Calloway and Jaime Batiste, other parliamentarians and members of the media. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm pleased to be here today on behalf of the Cape Breton Regional Police Service to collaborate with the Government of Canada on this pilot for the Assault-Style Firearm Compensation Program. Police see firsthand the devastating impacts of gun violence, and we know the importance of removing these dangerous firearms from our communities. So we are pleased as a police service to be able to assist by providing a safe and secure process for firearms owners to voluntarily return firearms that the government has now prohibited for public safety. At the Cape Breton Regional Police Service, we have the capacity and the expertise to safely collect, verify, and secure the prohibited firearms identified in our area so that the government can test the elements of this program. We are a large enough organization to facilitate with no impact to our frontline service delivery. Liaising with gun owners and the government, we will provide feedback to ensure the program operates smoothly before opening Canada-wide. Testing their collection process with our police service gives the government an opportunity to work with a municipal partner as they prepare to collaborate with a number of non-federal partners across the country. This program is really a way to help lawful gun owners stay in compliance with the law. We see this as giving them an opportunity to surrender what they are no longer allowed to possess, to prevent criminal liability, and to demonstrate that this can be an effective process for removing dangerous firearms from our community without having to use extra police resources to go and seize them. Ultimately, this is about public safety and security of our communities and putting the protections in place to prevent further victimization and tragedy from gun violence. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And I mentioned the Portapique massacre earlier. We all know that there have been other mass shootings in Canada perpetrated with these type of weapons.
Just a few words. I'm very proud to be part of the government who began this program. The last time I was in front of you, on December 5th, I knew that the Liberals were able to complete it, and I'm very proud to be part of it. And I have great confidence that with the initiative taken by the Nova Scotia Police and the Cape Breton Police group, we will be able to fulfill it. And please, please remind that Canadian, 70% in rural region, 80% in urban region, Canadian agree. They see like us. Students in 1990 with the society tabled a petition to say that they were for the ban of assault-style weapon. Today, in 2025, we are still going on and we will complete it. Thank you.
It will take more than this program to eliminate gun crime from our streets and communities. And we are committed to doing whatever is necessary to make our communities safer. You cannot be serious about being tough on crime if you're not willing to be tough on guns. This program is part of that solution. We know that, Canadians know that, and Canadians support us on this. Happy to take your questions.
Minister, you don't seem to have confidence in this program. Why not? And is it appropriate to stay on as Public Safety Minister?
I have absolute confidence in this program. As you can tell, I have brought forward, I'm making this announcement today in collaboration with my colleagues as well as Cape Breton Police.
If you could go back. You said you're doing it because the Prime Minister...
Saying something that I will do differently is not saying that I don't have confidence in the program. What I suggested was, in order to do it differently, there's a lot of frustration amongst Canadians, amongst those who've been impacted, that this has taken far too long. So in terms of the process itself, we brought in the initial order in council in 2020, as you recall. There's another one in 2024 and another one March of this year. So my preference, and I will say this publicly, is that I would have preferred to have this done sooner. But I have absolute confidence in this program, and that's why I'm here implementing it.
Why did you say it was about Quebec? Why did you say moving forward it was about Quebec? And that Quebec's different than the rest of Canada.
The Quebecers have been impacted by gun violence, by mass casualty events over a number of decades. My colleague here, who was in fact the coroner at the Dawson school shooting. We have another colleague who's impacted. She spoke about her experience at l'École Polytechnique. We know about the Quebec City mosque shooting. So this is a very live and real issue for Quebecers. It is also an issue for all Canadians, and that's why it is important that we're moving forward with the implementation of this program.
You said on the recording that you did not think that local police had the resources to enforce this. Why don't you think that? And what's the point of moving forward with it if you don't think it can be enforced?
Well, the context of that conversation, of course, it was in a context of a scenario that was offered to me, and it was commentary on that. In terms of the ability of police, I have every confidence that law-abiding citizens, first of all, will ensure compliance with the law. Secondly, I also have every confidence that law enforcement will be able to do their job and to ensure the implementation of the criminal code. Canada is a rule of law country, so if it is in the criminal code, it is imperative that police of jurisdiction are able to implement that law. I want to maybe ask Deputy Commissioner Larkin and Chief to be able to comment on this.
Why do you keep insisting that the program...
Can you just repeat in English what your reaction was to hearing that recording? And what does it mean for public confidence in this program moving forward?
La confiance, sorry. A program like that needs a team, needs a group, not just one person. And you see it today. We are all here together with the minister because we believe that it has to be done and that the solution we find in the specific context we have is the right solution for the context. So I'm really happy that we go forward, and I really thank from the bottom of my heart the Cape Breton Police that they are doing it and making sure that it will work swiftly right after.
Minister, you have voluntary. How is this voluntary? You say that the program is voluntary, but after the amnesty ends, the people are not in compliance with the law. So how is this truly voluntary?
So Canadians, starting in Cape Breton today, will be able to enroll in the program, be able to get compensated if they were to turn their firearm in, or they will be able to get compensation if they deactivate and confirm that it's deactivated with a certificate. So it is strictly voluntary. Nobody is being forced to undertake the buyback program. Well, the expectation is that they will comply, and the order in council, as you know, is being extended from this October to October of 2026. So there is a one-year window. Our expectations is that law-abiding citizens will abide by the law, and beyond that, the police of jurisdiction is tasked to, as you know, implement the criminal code.
If Canada is a rule of law, why did you offer to pay someone the difference in compensation and bail them out of jail? You're a minister. Why'd you say that?
Let's maybe put this in context. This was a private conversation with an individual that I've known for many years. I said these two issues frankly, in bad humor, that is being misinterpreted. It is very clear that there was a private conversation. It is with someone. It is an acquaintance.
Do we believe you
well,
now, or should we believe what you said on the phone?
Well, first of all, it's not the phone. It was in the context of a private conversation in person. What is important is that if you look at it in context, that was not a serious attempt. It was a bad attempt at humor on my part. It was in no way to suggest that they will either I will bail them out or otherwise. That is not.
Is it a subject you should do humor about? Is it a subject you should do humor about?
Let's look at the context of it. It was a 20-minute conversation, and as part of the conversation in a private setting, it was a range of issues that we discussed. So it is humor.
Why say one thing in private and one thing different in public?
Your intention was to see that this program moved along quicker, and what we have today is maybe, hopefully, 200 guns in Cape Breton. Have you not failed at the task of getting this moving faster?
Absolutely not, because we need to test the system that we have for individual gun owners. The next 5 to 7 weeks is a test period. It will enable us to go through the glitches. In fact, I did the enrollment last week as a trial run, and I came up with some suggestions to improve it. that those improvements were done. What we anticipate is feedback that we get with Cape Breton, we will be able to strengthen and make it a better program overall.
But why say one thing in public and one thing in private?
Mark, you want to answer the question?
Have you had a conversation with the Prime Minister since the recording came out? Do you still have his confidence to continue in this job?
I have the confidence to be able to bring this forward today. I have confidence from my colleagues that are standing with me. The Prime Minister gave me a mandate to execute on the compensation program, and this is exactly what we're doing today.
And if the pilot project is not a success, will you keep going forward?
We are looking at the pilot project overall as a way to gauge any systemic issues that we may have in terms of glitches that we'll have in the registration. We are quite we are resolved and confident that the program will go forward.
What about gun owners who are saying they're not getting enough money for their guns, and that might be a deterrent for them to hand back their guns?
Well, ultimately, these are not brand new guns. So we have worked with many organizations to come up with a fair assessment of the value of the gun that is being turned in, and that is the compensation that will be going forward to the individual who applies for the compensation.
Yes, how much in total are you mass shootings? Why haven't you banned it?
And thank you for the question, and I think Nathalie answered in part. And look, we understand the concerns over the SKS. We will continue advancing the work with experts on the weapons classification, and that is taking place as we speak. This includes consultations, particularly with Section 35 rights holders, many Indigenous communities where for their livelihood, as part of their way of life, hunting is very much central to their way of life. So it is important that we respect those traditions, and as we have considerations around the SKS, we ensure adequate and appropriate consultations with Indigenous people.
If you go over the $742 million budget, how much are you willing to spend on this program to collect all these guns?
Well, the mandate we have right now is the funds that were available through previous budgets. So just to note that not a single dollar is coming from the current budget cycle. The last budget year was 2023-24 as part of the fall economic statement in 2024. And the program itself is being rolled out with existing resources, so no new funds are coming in. In terms of the program itself, look, there's roughly 180,000 registered firearms users or registered firearms that are subject to the prohibition. So we anticipate a fairly high uptick. We will assess the situation as it evolves. Cape Breton is the starting point for us, but we will continue to assess, and we will have continuous monitoring of the uptake of the program, and we will assess it at that point.
Right now, in Canada, there's some people with bad intentions who have in their house prohibited or non-restricted or restricted weapons without fair licensing. But the policeman is not knocking at every door to check what is in the hand of each Canadian. They are seized when they are moved, when there's an event. So it would be the same. But all of the people in possession of one of the weapons that has been banned since 2020 and who will not participate in the compensation program will have an illegal gun in its possession, and that's a criminal act.
All right, thank you very much, everyone.
I would like to know why you say one thing in public and one thing in private.